What's going on, distinguished guests of the Continental? Your two favorite hitmen are back tonight, and we're talking about the Baba Yaga himself. Part four of the super successful action franchise starring Keanu Reeves. We're talking about John Wick 4.
You and I left a good life behind a long time ago, my friend. Let's start
Henry Hill, you've been excommunicado.
Easy there, Ian McShane. Sorry, Winston. He's
said
great in
that.
that role. I love him in that role. He's perfect for that. Just like the attitude and the
Yeah.
swagger. Yeah.
Yeah, Ian McShane, that's right. But yeah, we have the fourth entry in this franchise for John Wick. I just actually watched the first three last, or maybe a year or two ago for the first time. Fell in love with them. Saw the last one at the theater, and then returned in to see part four that just hit theaters. And man, what a good time!
What a blast, man. Action packed. 3 hours, the longest of the franchise. Keanu coming back in the role for Chad Stileski, his fourth go around directing these, action extravaganzas, just throwing everything at John Wick that he can handle, his character can handle. And, John, he's always more than willing to take the fight on. And he does it by, gun, he does it with his hands. And in this one, he has some new threats that arise as this movie picks up from the third one where we last saw him. Winston shot him on the top of the roof and he fell down. And of course, seemingly anybody else would die from that fall, but not John Wick. He came back and we saw a glimpse of him in the post credit scene. So he's back in John Wick 4. He's been injured, but he's been with the Bowery King and he's been training hard and getting ready for the new threats that are coming his way.
And that's right. From the get go of the film, we get to see John Wick on a horse and a whole bunch of different things. There's over the top action right from the get go of the film. You know what you're getting yourself into as an audience. You want to see Keanu Reeves kick some ass, and that is what he does for about the 3 hour runtime, nonstop action movie. John Wick, just pissed off. Things that happened to him in the last movie having to do with the Continental, Ian McShane's character of Winston and Jonathan. The falling out of that, and then John Wick returning to take care of some business, where they introduced the new bad guy, which we talked about in the podcast recently. Bill Skarsgård, Pennywise the Clown himself, plays Marcus, which is like a thick European accent, much like a Bond villain, as we discussed. It really, over the top in some parts of the film, but you could tell he's having a good time playing this character as a villain and trying to track down Mr. John Wick, or also known as the Boogeyman.
Boogeyman himself, the Baba Yaga, coming back. And another actor we've been talking about lately, Lance Reddick, tragically passing away a couple weeks back at the age of 62, I believe, 62, just out of nowhere. Sad loss, but his character, Sharon, he plays a big part in this. At the beginning of the film, the bringing John Wick back involves his character, him and Winston, and John's lured back into this world. Everybody's out to get him. He's been excommunicado, as we talked about, and the reward amount for the hit keeps going up. It keeps rising, and it's international now. We find John Wick in many different countries along this franchise. This one, we're in France. Some awesome action scenes in this. The setups, man, just insane what they can do with this character, and they keep making it fresh and exciting. It's just over the top violence all the time. You'd think after like an hour, you'd be like, okay, it's almost too much, but they always keep it, the action scenes fresh and exciting. With John Wick having to fight in this one, Donnie Yen's character there, Kane, who plays into the story. We won't get into specifics, but basically he used to work with John Wick, and now he's kind of been turned against him. And they have some great scenes together in this film. I really liked Kane's backstory and how it interwove with John Wick's story, and how they're both, involved with each other in this film. They had to work together. They had to fight. They had to do everything. I really enjoyed that aspect of the film. And the beginning action sequence, the shootout, was just amazing with all those guys. And then it was kind of like a museum, and there were glass cases encasing armor, and they were fighting through that, shooting, bullets flying, John Wick killing every soldier that came his way with anything he can get. I love how when he runs out of ammo, he doesn't let that stop him. He'll throw the gun at the guys that he's fighting. He'll do whatever he can to kill them and dispatch of them.
Yeah, one scene that comes to mind is the whole like the fight scene with all the glass shells or whatever the hell they were, and they're like kind of ducking behind it and he's shooting. And one thing
Yeah.
I noticed too, he has like 150 rounds in these handguns. I'm like, no way, dude. He's like, doo, 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 doo. Like hit like 100 guys and never runs out. But it's part of the fun of the movie. Bad guy that John Wick can't take out, one after the next. And they just keep coming up. He never gets hurt. He's like immortal. He's like Michael Myers of action movies. He gets ran over, goes through, falls on top of a van from like 20 stories up. And then the motorcycle scene, just nonstop getting the shit kicked out of him. And he just keeps getting up, man. He is a tough cookie. And that's the nickname. And, really great scenes with, as you were saying, Donnie Yen. I love this guy, Rogue One. I knew him from other martial arts movies as well. He brought a lot to this movie, and they had a really great relationship. Another bad guy they introduced in this movie, Scott Adkins, played Killa, and he was pretty good, pretty intimidating. I liked him a lot, but the rest of the movie really having to do with the cast behind me.
Yeah, I didn't recognize Scott Adkins until I looked closer in his eyes because he's playing this big brute of a guy that he's fighting. In a cool scene, he's almost like a casino, dealer that's the scene you're talking about, right? Where he's stealing the cards and they have a big fight, a really awesome action sequence there. John's story really comes full circle in part 4. Obviously with the first one having to do with the death of his wife and him grieving that and her having left him a dog, and then the Russian gangsters, killing the dog. And that's when John Wick snapped and came back into this life. And this one having to do with the high table and Marcus's character. And, the only way that basically that they can put a stop to this is if he has a duel with, with somebody. There's rules laid out. I love this whole world that they've created in this film with the Continental, the high table. There's plenty of mythology that they created along this series, and I give kudos to Chad Stileski for coming up with this and directing these great action sequences, coming up with this awesome story, and keeping it fresh throughout 4 films. It's hard to do. Most franchises, lost steam 2 movies ago. Maybe they made a part 3 just to milk the franchise a little more, but it's rare that you find a part 4 that is worthy to be along with the other 3. And John Wick 4 definitely is worthy of being with the other films. And I loved every second of it. I was cheering. There's about a 30-minute spell towards the end of the film where there isn't a lot of action. They're really setting up the final hour of the movie. But once that kicks in, the final hour of the movie, it's awesome. It's some of the most creative scenes he's filmed. I like the shot where he was filming down from the ceiling, looking down. It almost reminded me like a video game, like looking down on the characters. That view was really cool. They hadn't done that before. And Keanu at his best again. He gets to do a lot of obviously his own stunts, but he really brings the emotional impact of his character. Like I said, it comes full circle in this. And when he has the scene in the church with Donnie Yen's character, they bring some emotion. They bring some emotional stakes to it too. So I really enjoyed part 4 of this franchise, and I want to see more. I can't wait for the spinoff Ballerina, and then the show that we're going to be getting later on in the year, The Continental on Peacock.
Hell yeah. It's a good time to be a John Wick fan. And this movie definitely delivers the 4th installment in the franchise for John Wick, and it brings its A game all across the board here. Maybe a bit long at times, just a minor complaint, but everything else is balls to the wall action. The last hour is absolutely amazing. Just the nonstop one continuous shot takes that they did with the certain fight scenes without, I don't want to give too much away about that, but just really impressive. Stileski does a great job directing this. He returned with the production designer, Kevin Kavanaugh. So he loves all the neon colors, that pop out.
The color scheme.
The color scheme looks beautiful. The score's pounding, a lot of EDM music, and this really elevates the whole atmosphere, the fight sequences. Really impressed with the supporting cast in this movie as well, and what this is all about, and where it leads to the very end with the duel here, and kind of bidding a farewell maybe for the future of John Wick. We'll have to wait and see what happens with that. But with that being said, really impressive movie. Had a great time with this. Loved everything about it. It's a movie I would definitely pick up for 4K collection That being said, I'm going to give John Wick Chapter 4. I'll give it a 4 out of 5. Boogeyman hair pieces.
You mentioned it's already available for pre-order. I pre-ordered the Amazon exclusive 3-disc set, so we'll see. They haven't released the artwork for it yet, so I'm waiting to see that. But yeah, I'm definitely going to pick that up. You got me the first 3 for Christmas a couple of years back, so I'll be adding part 4, and I can't wait to watch this again. Movie was awesome, just as good as the other ones. One of the strongest of the franchise. I wouldn't rank it as the best, but it's definitely up there. It's hard to, each film really brings its own unique vision. This one with its own unique, color scheme, the greenish red vibes that were going on in there. And man, I had such a great time with this movie. This was fun to watch in the theater, hear people screaming and cheering. And I really hope that we get to see Mr. Wick return one more time at least. I know we're going to see him in the spinoff Ballerina, but that's supposed to take place between 3 and 4. So hopefully there's more of a future. I know he loves playing that character. And at this point, the franchise keeps getting bigger at the box office. So with that being said, I am going to give John Wick 4 a 4 out of 5 Bowery King hair pieces.
So I want to hear from all you wild assassins out there. What did you like about John Wick Chapter 4? What didn't you like about it? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to stay up, subscribe. Also, check out these wild Keanu Reeves enthusiasts on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and our website, Cinephellas.com, for the latest, greatest TV, movie news and reviews.
So have you ever been excommunicado before?
Yeah, a few times actually last year.
Yeah, it's usually like from an ex-girlfriend or something, though. It's not actually from like an assassin or, the high
Nothing
table.
really remotely interesting about it, just from a job.
Exactly. Getting fired from a shitty job. So yeah, let us know in the comments what you guys thought of part 4. Let us know your rankings of the franchise. We want to hear from you guys about this movie. What was your favorite action sequence? Some really awesome scenes. I love how John Wick gets hit by multiple cars in this and just gets up, keeps going. And then later on, he's falling down flights of stairs, keeps going, makes it just in the nick of time. He really is the Baba Yaga.
He really is. You can't kill evil, as we know.
So thank you for watching our review of John Wick 4. Until the next Cinephellas movie review, I'm Uncle Henry Wick.
And I'm Logan Reeves, signing out until the next movie review.
Cheers!